The day my sister called me a gold digger was the day our mother was buried. I wish that were an exaggeration. The church smelled like lilies and grief. Guests murmured soft condolences, the organ hummed faintly, and I stood by the casket trying to hold myself together. Mom's pearls rested around her neck, ones she'd promised I'd wear on my wedding day. I hadn't even touched them since she passed last week. Then I heard Sabrina's heels, sharp, confident, unapologetic. She swept in wearing black Dior sunglasses and a coat too glamorous for mourning. "Maya," she said, voice syrup sweet, "you look tired. Rough week counting the inheritance, huh?" My breath caught. A few heads turned. I forced a smile. "It's Mom's funeral, Sabrina. Don't start." "Oh, I'm not starting anything," she said loudly. "I'm just telling the truth. Everyone here knows how much you helped Mom sign things toward the end." Whispers spread through the pews like fire through dry leaves. My Aunt Linda frowned. "What are you implying, Sabrina?" "She knows," Sabrina said, gesturing toward me with a manicured hand. "The house title, the stock portfolio, Mom's retirement fund. Suddenly all updated right before she passed. It's amazing what guilt and tears can buy, isn't it?" Someone gasped. I felt every eye turn toward me, heavy and cold. "Enough," I said quietly. "You don't know what you're talking about." She tilted her head, that perfect pageant smile, stretching wide. "Sure I do. I saw the notarized transfer forms. Mom wanted things secure. I'm her executor, remember?" My heart stopped. "Executor?" That wasn't true. Mom's last will, signed months earlier, had listed us both as co-executors. The priest cleared his throat, trying to resume the service, but the damage was done. After the burial, guests avoided me. Sabrina lingered near the limo with her husband, laughing softly with our cousins. When I approached, she turned, smile gone. "You really shouldn't embarrass yourself, Maya. The estate's already handled. Mom trusted me to manage everything." "I want to see the documents," I said. "They're confidential," she replied. "But I'll tell you this. Maybe next time you shouldn't wait until someone's dying to care." That line hit harder than any slap. I walked away before she could see my tears. But inside, something started burning. That night, I found myself in Mom's study, the one Sabrina hadn't bothered to clear yet. The scent of old books and lavender lingered. On the desk sat Mom's tablet, screen dim, charging light flickering. I opened it. Password. The same one she used for everything. June 25. Her wedding anniversary. The screen loaded a row of hospice care emails, medical invoices, and, oddly, an app titled VoiceKeeper Legacy. I tapped it. A single file appeared. To my daughters, March 3rd. My hand shook. I pressed play. Mom's face appeared, frail, smiling faintly under hospital light. "If you're watching this," she said, "I'm gone. I needed to explain something the papers can't. My will is simple. The house, the savings, and my stocks go to Maya. She's the one who took care of me, who paid the bills when no one else did. Sabrina already has enough. I love you both. But fairness isn't always 50-50. I sat frozen, tears streaming silently. Mom's voice, calm, resolute, cut through every doubt. The next line hit like lightning. "I told my lawyer, Mr. Evans, to store the signed version safely. If anyone presents a different one, it isn't mine." I paused the video, heart pounding so loud I could hear it in the silence. Sabrina had lied, and not just lied. She'd stolen before the dirt on Mom's grave had settled. I scrolled further. Attached below the video was a confirmation email. VoiceKeeper legal copy synced to Evans and Harper Law Firm. Timestamp verified. I wiped my face, whispered, "You covered me even from heaven, didn't you, Mom?" Outside, rain began tapping the window pane, soft, deliberate, like punctuation on a promise. By midnight, I'd printed the timestamp, emailed the firm for verification, and written one line in my notebook. "If she wants a war, I'll bring the receipts." The next morning, I drove straight to Evans and Harper Law Firm, the same office that had handled Mom's estate for years. The receptionist looked up, startled. "I need to speak with Mr. Evans. It's regarding my mother's will. Margaret Collins." She frowned. "One moment." 5 minutes later, the familiar figure of Thomas Evans, gray-haired and polished, appeared. "Maya, I'm so sorry for your loss." he said softly. Thank you, I replied, my voice steady but tight. But I think there's been tampering. He motioned me into his office. I placed the printed email on his desk, the one linking to the hospice video. He adjusted his glasses. I haven't seen this version, he admitted. Your sister brought in a newer will last week, digitally signed and notarized. My pulse spiked. Last week? Mom was in hospice last week? Yes, he said slowly. She told me it was Mom's final update, and the notary confirmed the signature using DocuSign. I leaned forward. Thomas, you've known my mother 20 years. Does that sound like her? He hesitated, then sighed. No, your mother always signed in person. She didn't trust digital files. He pulled up the digital will on his computer. My heart clenched. It listed Sabrina Miller as sole executor and beneficiary of all properties, assets, and accounts. The signature looked eerily perfect. Too perfect. A smooth, pressureless cursive identical to Mom's. I knew why. Sabrina had access to my mother's tax returns, all scanned in my handwriting app. Can you verify when this was signed? I asked. He clicked open the metadata. Timestamp, March 9th, 11:42 p.m. I whispered, Mom died March 8th. Thomas froze. Dear God. By the time I left his office, the shock had hardened into something sharper. Resolve. That evening, I called Sabrina. She answered on speaker, laughter and clinking glasses in the background. Well, if it isn't my favorite accountant in training, she teased. How's grief treating you? I just came from Mom's lawyer, I said flatly. You forged her will. The laughter stopped. Excuse me? You heard me. You used DocuSign after she died. I have the hospice timestamp. You're finished. There was a pause, then a slow, mocking laugh. Maya, you sound insane. You really think anyone's going to believe you? The broke nurse who lived off Mom's credit card? My throat tightened. You know that's not true. Please, you couldn't even afford your rent without her help. You think you deserve that house? Those stocks? You gave her sponge baths. I built her investments. Big difference. I gripped the phone, shaking. You stole from her. I managed her legacy, she snapped. And unless you want to humiliate yourself in court, I'd stay quiet. The public copy of the will is already filed with the probate office. You're nothing but a dependent. Her husband's voice chimed in the background. Is she still going on about the will? Sabrina laughed, cruel and crystal clear. She's emotional. You know how poor people get when they smell money? I hung up before I could scream. The silence that followed was heavy, suffocating. The next morning, my phone exploded with notifications. Family group chat. Aunt Linda. Maya, sweetheart, Sabrina says you're contesting the will. Why? Your mom wanted peace. Cousin Ben. Can't believe you're suing your own sister. Mom's church friend. Sabrina posted the statement. So heartbreaking. You trying to take everything. I opened Facebook. There it was. A public post from Sabrina. Photo of Mom and her captioned, some people only show love when there's money left. I just hope she rests knowing I protected her wishes. Thousands of likes, comments full of sympathy. My hands trembled. She'd flipped the narrative perfectly. Again. At work, my supervisor pulled me aside. Maya, I got a call from your sister's attorney. You're being accused of harassment and defamation. HR has to review it. My chest burned. She's lying. I know, he said softly, but the hospital has to stay neutral. That night, I sat on my apartment floor surrounded by Mom's files, receipts, voice messages, and that one precious video. I replayed her words over and over. Fairness isn't always 50-50. For the first time, I understood what she meant. Fairness meant standing up, even if it meant standing alone. I opened my laptop, clicked record, and whispered to the camera, my name is Maya Collins. This is my mother's real will. And this is the truth my sister buried. By Tuesday, my phone had turned into a courtroom I couldn't leave. Aunt Linda. Sweetheart, delete your posts. You're upsetting everyone. Cousin Ben. Sabrina said you forged the old will. Care to explain? My reply stayed unsent. Arguing in a group chat was like shouting into a choir Sabrina paid for. HR called me into a tiny conference room that smelled like coffee and bleach. Maya, my supervisor, said gently, we received a formal complaint. Allegations of harassment and online defamation. Until this is cleared, we're suspending your extra shifts. Because my sister lied on Facebook? He winced. Because we have policies. I'm sorry. By lunch, I was blocked from the family chat and from Sabrina's page. Her narrative kept leaking, anyway. Screenshots found me like rain through a cracked roof. My face next to captions about greed, comments from church ladies with praying hands emojis, Eric chiming in with, "We did the hard work. Some people only know how to take." I drove to Mom's empty house because I didn't know where else to go. Dust hung in the air like a held breath. I opened drawers, checked folders, found nothing. Until the hospice bag. At the bottom, a laminated card with Wi-Fi info and a sticker. For questions about VoiceKeeper. Contact IT, Hospice, Tech End. The email felt like a hand reaching back from the edge. I wrote, "This is Maya Collins, Margaret Collins' daughter. I need device logs for March 3rd 9. Who accessed the app, from which IP, and whether the To My Daughter's video was synced externally." I hit send, then stared at the blinking cursor like it could bless me. An hour later, a reply. Ivy, Hospice IT. We can't release PHI without authorization, but we can confirm metadata to the legal custodian. If you have counsel or Mr. Evans looped, we'll coordinate. Also, our nurse supervisor remembers recording the message. The nurse, a witness I didn't have to share DNA with. I called the firm. Mr. Evans picked up on the second ring. "Loop Hospice IT with me," I said. "And please secure the original paper will you drafted last winter?" "I already pulled it from storage," he said. "We'll notarize a copy and timestamp the archive move." When I hung up, the house seemed less empty. Proof was beginning to stack like bricks. At 5 p.m., Sabrina texted from a new number. "Last warning, delete your smear or I'll file a restraining order." I typed, "File whatever helps you sleep, bring the DocuSign log." Then I blocked the number and every clone after it. Rosa arrived with a grocery bag and her press badge tucked into a pocket. "Eat first," she ordered, dropping dumplings onto a plate. "Then show me everything." I spread it out. The hospice video email, the lawyer's confirmation, screenshots of Sabrina's posts, and the probate filing receipt with her midnight timestamp. Rosa read silently, eyes sharp. "Good. You need an outside witness on camera," she said. "Nurse, Hospice IT, someone whose job isn't sister. And we publish only documents, never adjectives." The doorbell rang. It was Nurse Hall. Gray scrubs, tired eyes, hands steady. "Ivy said you needed me," she said. We sat at Mom's kitchen table. "Did you record my mother's message?" I asked. "Yes," she said, a voice quiet but firm. "Your mother asked me to." She was lucid. We double-verified her name and date of birth. I uploaded the file from her bedside tablet to the firm's secure link. Timestamp was March 3rd, 6:21 p.m. I can sign a statement. Rosa lifted her phone. "With your consent, audio only." Nurse Hall nodded. "Consent given. I'll also testify that Mrs. Collins couldn't have DocuSigned anything on March 9th. She passed on the 8th. I was there." After she left, I let my forehead rest on the cool table. For the first time since the funeral, my lungs remembered how to work. The next blow landed online. A paid post appeared from Sabrina's business page. "Beware of fake wills. Scammers target grieving families." A carousel of glossy photos followed. Her in black, hand on Mom's casket, a caption about protecting Margaret's wishes. The comments were a pep rally. Rosa tapped the screen. "Let them cheer," she said. "Crowds don't notarize." I spent the night building Binder A, Will. Tab 1, Hospice Video Confirmation plus Email Headers. Tab 2, Mr. Evans's Archive Pull Memo. Tab 3, Probate Filing Screen with the Impossible Timestamp. Tab 4, Screenshots of Sabrina's statements with URLs and times. Tab 5, a blank affidavit page labeled Nurse Hall. At 2 a.m., Ivy emailed again. "We've prepared a metadata report for counsel. It shows 2 logins, bedside tablet, M. Collins, and a remote login from an iPhone on Sabrina's home Wi-Fi the night of March 9th. Report ready for pickup with ID." My hands shook. The line between rumor and record had turned into a wall. By sunrise, I'd made a list on a sticky note. File a police report for identity fraud. Attach DocuSign metadata. Send cease and desist to Sabrina or defamation. Film a 2-minute explainer, only dates, stamps, witnesses. Prepare to be hated louder tomorrow than today. Mom used to say fairness is slow because it follows the rules. I pinned the sticky above the sink and let the kettle hiss. At 9:10 a.m., Mr. Evans texted, Nurse Hall's affidavit signed. Hospice metadata delivered. Call when ready to move, ex parte to freeze transfers. I replied, ready. Sabrina still had the louder choir, but I had something she couldn't buy. A timestamp that didn't love her, a nurse who didn't fear her, and a paper trail that didn't blink. Isolation hadn't ended. It had simply emptied the room so the truth could echo. The first domino fell on a Thursday morning. Rosa had posted a short, sterile thread on her legal blog. No names, no faces, just facts. Case study: forged digital signature on posthumous will. Metadata shows login after death, verified by hospice timestamp. Reminder: electronic notarization isn't immune to fraud. Within an hour, the comments exploded. Lawyers, estate planners, even a digital forensics account reposted it. By noon, the Austin Tribune ran a headline: Digital forgery under review. A state case raises legal questions. Sabrina called me immediately. Are you insane? She screamed. You think this makes you look good? Everyone knows it's about our family. Then you shouldn't have made our family public first, I said calmly. Facebook works both ways. Delete it, Maya, or You'll what? I cut in. Forge another will? Click. Silence. That afternoon, Mr. Evans filed an emergency injunction to freeze the estate transfers. The county clerk's office emailed confirmation at 4:17 p.m. All property and accounts linked to the Collins estate are under temporary hold pending verification. Sabrina's empire began to crack by dinner time. Her brokerage clients panicked when the Tribune posted a follow-up story showing anonymous metadata linking an iPhone login to the forged will. The timestamp matched March 9th, the night after Mom's death. Rosa texted me a screenshot. Public trust drops faster than stock value. I should have felt triumphant. Instead, I felt hollow. The next day, I went to the courthouse for the injunction hearing. Reporters milled outside, cameras flashing as soon as they recognized Sabrina. She looked immaculate. Silk blouse, pearls, the same shade Mom used to wear, but her eyes were pure storm. Inside, the clerk swore us in. Mr. Evans presented the hospice video, the nurse's affidavit, and the IT log. He clicked play. Mom's voice filled the courtroom. My will is simple. The house, the savings, and my stocks go to Maya. Gasps. Even the bailiff blinked. Sabrina's attorney shot up. Objection! This is an emotional appeal, not admissible. Judge Morales raised a hand. It's time-stamped and authenticated. Continue. Rosa whispered beside me. That's your mother doing cross-examination from heaven. When the clip ended, the judge looked at Sabrina. Mrs. Miller, can you explain why your login appeared on a DocuSign session dated March 9th? She swallowed. It must have been an automatic sync. Mr. Evans slid a printed record across the table. Manual signature override at 11:42 p.m. Your Honor. IP trace 192.168.0.17. Her home network. The judge's pen froze mid-note. Sabrina's husband shifted uneasily. Then came the witness. Nurse Hall took the stand, calm and deliberate. I recorded that message myself, she said. Mrs. Collins was coherent, aware of date and time. She passed less than a week later. There's no way she signed anything afterward. When she stepped down, the room buzzed. The judge leaned forward. I'm issuing a provisional order. Assets frozen. Pending full forensic review. Sabrina exhaled, shaking her head. You've ruined me, she hissed as we left the courtroom. No, I said quietly. You did that when you traded family for a signature. Outside, microphones swarmed. Reporters shouted questions. Miss Collins, is it true your sister forged your mother's will? I kept walking. Rosa stepped between us. No comment until the audit's complete, she said, her voice steady, practiced. That evening, Rosa uploaded one more post, this time with names. Public record now confirms injunction in Collins estate versus Miller. Morale, timestamps don't grieve and signatures can't lie. It went viral overnight. The following morning, Sabrina's brokerage website vanished. Her sponsors withdrew. Then a final blow. The State Real Estate Commission opened an ethics investigation citing document falsification during active license. Rosa handed me a coffee and grinned. You wanted proof. Now you have headlines. I took a slow sip. Proof is just the start. She still has mom's transfer money. Rosa nodded. Then the next round is financial. Get ready. Outside, rain swept across the courthouse steps. Hard, cleansing, relentless. It felt like something had shifted. The world finally believed me. But belief wasn't justice yet. Justice still had a number. And I planned to collect it. The storm didn't end with headlines. It changed direction. 2 weeks after the injunction, I got a letter from First Republic Bank, a notice of inquiry, attached to my name. As co-beneficiary listed on the Collins estate transfer, you are liable for pending withdrawals totaling $612,000. My stomach dropped. Sabrina had wired money from mom's investment account to a joint business fund, one registered under both our initials, M&S Consulting LLC. I'd never even heard of it. I called the bank immediately. This must be a mistake, I said. The representative sighed. The account was opened with both social security numbers and electronic authorization from your email. My email? Yes, ma'am, attached to the DocuSign credentials. There it was again. The forged signature had cloned everything. Now my name was stamped to her crime. Rosa read the letter and whistled. She didn't just steal. She laundered you. Mr. Evans joined our call that afternoon. We can prove identity theft. The IP traces match her home network. But here's the problem. Your name's on the LLC. The IRS may freeze your personal account until the audit ends. I laughed once, dry, humorless. So I'm broke again for being honest. Temporarily, he said, unless we can find where the money went. 3 days later, we did. Rosa forwarded a photo from a gala page tagged on social media. Sabrina and her husband, Eric, standing under a gold banner, the Austin Heritage Investors Fund launch. In the caption, a line glimmered, funded by Private Estate Capital. Estate. My mother's word twisted into their marketing slogan. Rosa stared at the screen. That's the $612,000. She funneled it into this vanity fund. And she made it public, I whispered. Perfect. Mr. Evans was more cautious. We can subpoena their financial disclosures, but public evidence helps. Attend the launch, document everything, quietly. So I did. Friday night, I walked into the downtown hotel ballroom, dressed in black, professional enough to blend, plain enough to disappear. The chandelier light spilled over champagne flutes and designer suits. Sabrina glowed in the center, laughing that same perfect laugh. Eric spotted me first, his face drained of color. Maya, he stammered. Didn't expect you here. Just supporting local business, I said, smiling. Sabrina's eyes narrowed. You have no right. Oh, relax, I said softly. I'm only here to celebrate the company we apparently founded. Her expression flickered, half shock, half fury. Excuse me? I held up the bank letter. M&S Consulting, both our names. Funny, I don't remember signing incorporation papers. She snatched the paper, glancing at Eric. Handle this, she hissed. Eric swallowed. We'll fix it Monday. Just, please don't make a scene. Rosa appeared beside me, her camera hanging casually at her chest. No scene, she said. Just good lighting. The gala MC clinked a glass. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we honor the investors who made this possible. As applause swelled, I leaned toward Sabrina. You really shouldn't mix grief money with startup capital. Her jaw clenched. You wouldn't dare expose me here. Wouldn't I? Rosa stepped forward. Smile, Mrs. Miller. That's the sound of a story writing itself. By the next morning, the Tribune headline read, Forgery, Funds, and Family. Estate money surfaces in private investment launch. The investor fund froze within hours. The bank launched an internal audit. Sabrina texted one last time. You think this makes you right? You've humiliated us. Eric's investors are threatening lawsuits. I typed back, then maybe it's time you hire a real lawyer instead of a notary with Wi-Fi. Mr. Evans called that afternoon. You did it, he said simply. The audit's swinging your way. The court's adding financial misconduct to the complaint. I stared at Mom's photo on my desk. The one taken at the farmhouse porch, her smile gentle, almost amused. You knew this would happen, didn't you? I whispered. Outside, thunder rolled through the city like applause. Rosa raised her glass that evening. You realize what you've done, right? You turned a forged will into a federal case. I smiled faintly. No, I turned silence into evidence. The bank hearing was set for 10 a.m. in a glass conference room that looked like it had nothing to hide. Participants, Compliance Officer Lane, Counsel for First Republic, Sabrina and Eric with their lawyer, Mr. Evans for our side, and me. Rosa sat outside with her press badge and a calm that made me braver. Lane opened a folder. Purpose, determine source and authority for the $612,000 transfers from Collins estate accounts into M&S Consulting LLC and subsequently into Austin Heritage Investors Fund. Sabrina's lawyer smoothed his tie. Mrs. Miller is executor. She acted within the scope of a digitally notarized will. Great, Lane said. Then show me scope. He pressed a button. A screen lit up with a timeline. March 3rd, hospice video recorded, synced to Evans and Harper. March 8th, Margaret Collins, deceased. March 9th, 11:42 p.m. DocuSign override from IP trace to Sabrina's home network. April 2nd, Itagia, M&S LLC opened with 2 SSNs. April 5th, I did. $612,000 wired. Memo, estate consolidation. May 18th, gala launch, caption, funded by private estate capital. Mr. Evans slid a set of certified copies to the center. Hospice IT metadata, nurse affidavit, and the original paper will your bank already has on file from last year. Beneficiary, Maya. Co-executor, both sisters. Digital will, posthumous, forged. Eric tried to smile. Metadata can be tricky. Lane didn't smile back. So can felonies. He tapped the speaker. Play the notary file. The room filled with the tinny cadence I knew too well. Notary. Do you, Emily Carter, authorize this sale under your power of attorney? Vanessa, no, Sabrina's voice, softened into imitation. Yes, I do. A whisper behind it. Eric. Just read the paper, babe. Sabrina flinched. Her lawyer muttered, That recording is inadmissible. Not here, Lane said. This is risk assessment. We aren't a court. We're a bank deciding who lied to us. He turned to me. Miss Collins, did you authorize M&S Consulting or those transfers? No. To your knowledge, did your mother sign any digital will? No, she said she wouldn't. Lane nodded. Mrs. Miller, did you disclose to the bank that you were sole beneficiary? Yes, Sabrina said tightly. And that your sister co-executed? A beat. That was unclear at the time. Counsel for the investor fund joined by video. We accepted capital believing it was clean. If the source is disputed, we'll return the subscription. Sabrina snapped. You can't just... We can and we will. The fund lawyer replied. We are not a laundering service for family disputes. Mr. Evans slid one more page across the table. State Real Estate Commission notice, pending ethics review for document falsification under active license. Eric folded his arms. We'll fight all of it. Lane stacked the exhibits. Fight away. But as of now, we're reversing the wires. The $612,000 leaves your fund custody and returns to the frozen estate account pending court distribution. M&S LLC is flagged. Any outgoing transactions require dual authorization, both sisters, plus a court order. And Mrs. Miller, your relationship with First Republic is suspended. Color drained from Sabrina's face. You can't do that. We just did. Lane signed the internal form with a neat click. Additionally, we're filing a suspicious activity report and referring this to the Attorney General's office. Eric leaned toward Sabrina. Say something! She looked at me instead. You really want me homeless? You want me humiliated? I kept my voice even. I want Mom's will honored. The humiliation is a side effect of the truth. Her lawyer tried a final volley. If Maya refuses to settle, we'll argue undue influence. You'll argue against a time-stamped video, Mr. Evans asked, almost kindly. Good luck. The door opened. Rosa stepped in only far enough to meet my eyes. She didn't film. She didn't ask a question. She just held up a thumb and mouthed, Steady. Lane stood. That concludes our review. Expect written notice today. Outside, Sabrina cornered me by the elevators. Her mascara had smudged. For the first time all week, she looked like a person, not a performance. Maya, please, I will pay you. I'll sign a statement. Just tell them to stop. I stared at her, my sister who chose a signature over a relationship. It's not mine to stop anymore. She tried again. Mom would hate this. Mom hated lies, I said. The elevator chimed. The doors slid open. You can still make one good choice. Start with an apology in writing. She didn't follow. Back at Mr. Evans' office, we watched the emails land in real time. First Republic, wire reversal initiated. Fund counsel, subscription rescinded. Public clarification pending. Commission, license suspended pending hearing. AG intake, receipt of referral acknowledged. Rosa finally broke her silence. That's the sound of money learning manners. I laughed, but it came out like relief breaking a dam. Mr. Evans poured water into paper cups and raised his. To mothers who leave receipts, when I got home, I took Mom's pearls from their box and laid them on the table. The good china stayed in the cabinet. I didn't need a party. I needed a ledger that matched the life she lived. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. I'm sorry, I'll sign whatever you send. Sabrina. I typed only 2 words back. Start now. Then I opened a fresh folder on my desktop. Final distribution. Inside, I saved the bank notice, the reversal confirmation, and a blank PDF named Sabrina_apology_sign.pdf. The cursor blinked like a heartbeat. For months, I'd begged the world to believe me. Today, the paper believed first. The people followed. And the money finally remembered whose name it carried. 2 months after the hearing, the final court order arrived. All funds restored to the rightful beneficiary, Maya Collins. The estate was closed, the account unfrozen, and my name finally cleared. The day I signed the release, I didn't celebrate. I drove to Mom's grave instead. The morning air smelled like rain on cedar. I placed her pearls beside the flowers for a moment, the same ones I'd refused to wear at her funeral. They're safe now, I said quietly. Everything's finally where you wanted it. Footsteps crunched behind me. Sabrina's voice came, small, almost foreign. You won. I turned. She looked thinner, her perfect hair undone, eyes rimmed red. It wasn't about winning, I said. She let out a brittle laugh. That's what people who win always say. We stood in silence until she added, They suspended my license. Eric left. I'm selling the house. I nodded. Actions have balance sheets too. Her lips trembled. You really can't forgive me? I met her gaze. Forgiveness isn't the problem. Trust is. And trust doesn't respawn after fraud. She blinked hard, a tear slipping down. I don't expect you to forget. I won't, I said. But I don't hate you anymore either. I just finally stopped carrying you. Sabrina pressed a folded envelope into my hand. The last of Mom's jewelry. You should have it. When I opened it later, there was no jewelry, just Mom's old church donation receipts, neatly bundled, each one signed for the girls. Maybe that was forgiveness enough. That night, I lit a candle on the kitchen counter and let the silence stretch. Rosa texted, front page again. You're officially the woman who made an empire confess. I typed back, I'm officially done fighting. For the first time in a year, I believed it. A year later, peace didn't arrive like a parade. It crept in quietly, through coffee that stayed warm, bills that came with my own name on them, and mornings that didn't begin with dread. I sold Mom's old house, not out of anger, but because I was finally ready to stop living in rooms haunted by arguments. With part of the inheritance, I founded a small scholarship program for nursing students, women who, like me, knew how to hold lives together while theirs fell apart. I called it the Margaret Fund. Rosa helped design the website. She added a simple tagline, because honesty should still pay off. Sabrina never contested again. She moved to Dallas, kept a low profile, and, to her credit, paid back every legal fee she owed me. Once she sent a postcard with no return address. On the front, a photo of lavender fields. On the back, just 5 words. I'm learning how to breathe. I didn't reply, but I kept it pinned above my desk. Some nights, I still replay Mom's video, not for proof anymore, just for the sound of her saying my name. There's a steadiness in her tone I didn't notice before, a quiet knowing that everything would settle the way it should. People think revenge is the explosion, but they're wrong. It's the silence after, the kind that hums with closure instead of chaos. I stopped explaining myself to people who needed me small to feel big. I stopped apologizing for wanting fairness. The bank returned every cent. The scholarship launched. And for the first time, I used mom's pearls. At the opening ceremony, not as a reminder of loss, but as a promise kept. When the applause faded, I looked out over the audience, students, nurses, a few reporters, and Rosa filming from the aisle, and said, "Justice isn't loud. It's consistent. It doesn't need to scream to be real." Later that evening, I stood by the river that ran behind the city park. The water moved slow, bronze under sunset. I whispered the words that had followed me through every betrayal, every proof, every sleepless night. I choose peace. I choose honesty. And finally, I choose me. What would you have done if your own sister called you a gold digger while stealing your inheritance? Drop your story and subscribe Big Sister Revenge Stories.